Chapter 3 Home with God. Do you think that dying is something that occurs against your will? Gosh, you're certainly being true to your word here. That is going to be hard for many people to believe. There are some underlying principles of life at which we will take a deeper look in just a bit. That may make it easier to hold some of these remembrances more firmly in your reality. When we explore these basic principles more fully, you will come to know that what you call death is a powerful moment of creation. See now, there's another fascinating thought. Death is a moment of creation. It is one of the most powerful moments you will ever encounter. It is a tool, used as it was intended. Death can create something quite extraordinary. This too will all be explained to you. Death is a tool. Death is not simply a doorway. It is a doorway, but it is a magic doorway, because the energy with which you walk through that doorway determines what's on the other side. Okay, hold it. You're taking my breath away. Can we slow down here just a bit? Can we go over some of this one more time and fill in a few of the blanks? What you just said there leaves me with a lot of questions. We'll look at them. We'll look at all of them. We'll answer every one. Great. So let's start with this idea of using death as a tool. That thought is brand new to me. A tool is something that one uses on purpose. It's something that one wants to use. But I don't want to die. Nobody wants to die. Everybody wants to die. Everybody wants to die? Of course, or nobody would. Do you think that dying is something that occurs against your will? It sure seems that way to plenty of people. Nothing occurs against your will. That is impossible. So here is the third remembrance. You cannot die against your will. If I thought that were true, it would be so comforting. That would be so wonderfully healing to know. But how can I embrace that as my truth if it is my experience that lots of things happen that I do not want to have happen? Nothing happens that you do not want to have happen. Nothing? Nothing. You can imagine that things happen that you do not want to have them happen, but this is not what is so, and it merely allows you to think of yourself as a victim. Nothing holds you back in your evolution more than this single thought. The idea of victimization is a certain sign of limited perception. True victimization cannot exist. It's pretty darn hard to tell someone whose daughter has been raped or whose entire village has been wiped out in a vicious act of ethnic cleansing that no one has been victimized. It would be non-beneficial to speak in this way to people while they are in the midst of their suffering. During such moments, simply be with them with deep compassion, true caring and healing love. Do not offer spiritual platitudes or intellectual excursions as a remedy for their pain. Heal the pain first, then heal the thought that created the pain. Of course, it is true that in the ordinary human sense, there are those who have been the victim of terrible occurrences and circumstances in life. Yet, this experience or victimization can be real only within the context of normal and therefore extremely limited human awareness. When I say that true victimization does not exist, I am speaking from an entirely different level of awareness. Yet this is a level of awareness that human beings can achieve once their pain has been healed. I think that your statements will be difficult for many people to embrace, whether they are in emotional pain or not. What I am saying here is nothing more than what nearly all of the world's traditional religions have said for many centuries. Mysterious are the ways of the Lord, they have proclaimed. Have faith in God's perfect plan. Later in this conversation, we'll have an opportunity to explore this idea of a perfect plan. And we'll also take a look at how it is that many different souls interact together to produce the individual and collective outcomes of life on earth in a particular and perfect way for a particular and perfect reason. In fact, I am going to ask you to give me an example of that. You are, yes, and you will know exactly what I am talking about when I do. For now, rest quietly in your heart with the knowledge that all things are happening with perfection. I will try to hold that thought and to embrace that in my heart, as you have asked. But you're going pretty fast here. You're moving pretty quickly. We've engaged in this dialogue just a short time and already you're into, may I say it, into the ozone. I mean no disrespect, but just where is this conversation going? To where you have always wanted to go, which is to the truth.